very excited today to be here with, I consider him one of the legends as a coach, in the real estate industry, because he did, Mike, change a lot of life of people. He taught the people to become better, not just to become a better realtor, to become a better human, and Mike and I, we met about, go back in 2019, I actually before the COVID, and you did incredible job. And I know, a lot of our realtors, they sign up with you to become their coach. And I did see the massive change, better change, by the way. You did for them to become better producers and to become also better human. So Mike, I would like to thank you so much, for taking the time and to come and to do this event with us today. I'm not going to introduce you because, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. So again, once again, thank you so much, Mike, for, really making the time, to be with us today. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay, my pleasure. Can you hear me okay? Yes? Okay, good. Well, good morning and on with the show. Yeah, I'm in California, in Silicon Valley. So early for me. I know it's getting close to lunchtime for you guys. And I have an hour that I'm going to spend with you. And the session I'm going to be covering is titled Words and Questions That Change Minds. And when I say change minds, some of them will change the mind from someone being procrastinating or maybe concerned to changing them to feeling okay and words of questions of possibilities to take action. And this is all based on NLP, which I'm certified in. NLP stands for N for neurons, as in the mind, the thoughts, L for linguistics, both your words and your body motion, body language, and P for programming, the programs that we all have to process information to create our reality. And I'm certified that as a practitioner, then a master practitioner, and a trainer. And it's modeled after therapists that we're creating amazing change in people by the questions they're asking, reading the clients, talking to them in a certain way, in the way they need to hear things. And that's what I'm be covering with you, some words. It's not only just the words that you say. However, these are key words that I want you to be aware of that can impact you talking to buyers or sellers or investors. And right now, more than ever, the way you communicate with others is crucial, because buyers and sellers, investors, they're all a little jittery because of the changes in the market and the interest rate moving around. So you really need to, beyond being nice and friendly, which is obviously the baseline, however, you need to be influential to really talk to them as a leader, as an authority. And the words you use will impact that. There's a lot more beyond the words. There's also your facial expressions, your voice tone, your body motion. And this is just going to be the words. I'll touch, if I have time, on some other elements. I will touch on a little bit of body motion and how that impacts the person you're talking to, how it influences them or not, or it can maybe get them defensive. And I'm not a real estate agent. I've trained and presented thousands. I've trained top real estate agents. And so I know the industry. However, I'm not a real estate agent, so I'm able to kind of see things differently than what you may, being inside the trenches. I'm here in Silicon Valley, so I'm an international trainer. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I've been in London, Italy, Germany, Mexico, Canada, throughout the United States, New York, Miami, San Diego. And here in the Bay Area, I've also done a lot of training with high-tech firms like Cisco would bring me in, Intel, IBM, Apple Computer, Hilton Hotels, and McDonald's restaurants, and do some more communication for leadership training. So in this session, I want to instantly help you. And for those that want to learn more, I'll talk a little bit about my programs at the end. But I want to share as many golden nuggets as I can with you now to help you today and beyond. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So first off, this is a conversation. So if you have any questions or you need me to kind of embellish or explain something a little bit more, just raise your hand or unmute yourself. And so first off, let's go through the stages. And also I wrote a book. Some of this is part of my book, Connect with Anyone in 90 Seconds or Less. And this is based on NLP, and this is also based on, or part of my program. I have a program called Connect with Anyone in 90 Seconds or Less. So first is the mindset. You want to have a mindset when you're going to be communicating with somebody, a buyer, seller, or anyone, just a potential client or door knocking. And you want to have a mindset of expectations, expecting you're going to like that person. Because your expectations will influence what's called the self-fulfilling prophecy. If you expect someone to be difficult, if you expect to knock on a door and someone to open the door and be upset, you will talk differently. You'll be standing differently. Your voice will be different. You'll be more on guard or defensive. So if you pick up the phone and call someone, or you're talking to a buyer or a seller and you're thinking they're upset or maybe upset, your expectations will influence that conversation. It's that old self-fulfilling prophecy. If you expect something to go wrong, it will go wrong because you will influence it to go wrong. So if you expect to like them, expect the meeting to go well, expect to get a yes, you will project warmth and confidence. And that's just one key element on the mindset. There are a lot of other elements in regards to the mindset, in regards to connecting with people and also feeling confident about yourself. And some of these words that I'll share with you are also words that you want to be cautious with talking to yourself, that self-talk, internal talk. And in regards to NLP, I'm also been doing a lot of training in neuroscience, the impact and influence of words and how people are influencing their emotions. Because you are in the people business. The real estate is kind of the byproduct. However, you really need to connect with somebody and make them feel confident, to trust you, to feel reassured, and to take action. And so just your expectations alone will impact that. So when you're going to do whatever you're going to do, just expect. And for me, just to give you some more background, before this, I was in the high-tech field. I've been doing this for over 20 years. And in the high-tech field, I was moving up the ranks and doing more presentations and sales nationally. And I used to have the fear of public speaking. Sometimes I was okay in front of a group, other times I was a bundle of nerves. And also I had to do more sales. So I started studying more, and I came across NLP through Tony Robbins. That's where I first heard about it. And then I did my own journey of studying and learning. And I'm an introvert per se. I don't go into a room to say, hey, look, I'm here. I just go in to connect with people. So I had to figure out my own way of connecting with people so that, because I was labeled as shy, so that I can connect with people and feel good about it. Because I used to dread going to networking events or big functions and thinking, am anyone going to talk to me? Or is this going to be worth my time? And so one tip for those that are introverts in the group that might consider themselves a shy or introvert, one tip I'll share with you in regards to words that can change your mind. This is called reframing in communication, or NLP. And so I reframed, instead of being shy, which I was labeled like that by my mom. She would say, he's shy, he doesn't talk much. However, it's not a detriment. It's actually, I use it to empower me that being shy is being more respectful and considerate. You don't want to interrupt the conversation. You don't want to approach somebody and interrupt or what they may be doing. So I shifted to being respectful and considerate. So if you're an introvert, just think about that. You're considerate and respectful. So when you go to an event, or when you're going to talk to a client, or you're going to talk to a buyer, or maybe door knocking, just think you're being respectful and considerate. You want to help them. And that's the other mindset you want to have in your mind, is the mindset of your intentions. Your intentions will also be projected. And so if your intention is just for the transaction, for the business, people will sense that. So you want to have the intention is, I want to help you. I want to help you buy a house. I want to help you sell a house or invest, whatever it is. So consider your intentions. Think about that before you make that call, before you connect with that person, or before you have that meeting. And so with being an introvert, your intention should be to make other people feel comfortable. So if you go to a networking event, just walk up to people and say, how you doing? Just connect with them. I have a whole program on networking. However, I just wanted to share that with you because I've spoken with a lot of top performers, and a lot of them are introverts. And this one technique can help you if you're doing well, or maybe you're not, and you're just kind of not feeling comfortable calling people or connecting with them. So just think about yourself as helping them and being respectful and considerate, make sure that they don't make a wrong decision with the wrong real estate agent, that you're the right person to help them. So that's some key elements on the mindset. So the first word I want you to think about in regards to words and questions that change minds is, let me see, I don't have a person on here I can role play with, so I'll just explain it to you. The name, a person's name. You all know and been told, remember a person's name. It's important because it shows that you're connecting with them and you know who they are, you're paying attention. However, there's some other crucial elements of someone's name that I want you to be aware of to create instant rapport. So start that trust and credibility to where someone feels like you really know them. And in NLP, this is called matching and mirroring. And you might have heard about matching and mirroring. Basically, it's to reflect someone's gestures or motion back to them. And just so that you're in sync with them, but also as if you're like them. And what I refer to this as a tribal effect, as you're like my tribe, you're like someone that's really close to me, or you're like me. And so with the name, just the name alone, what you want to do is when you hear a person's name, repeat it back to them. Tone, volume level, if they say it high or low. Tonality, is a high tone or low tone. And if they have an accent, say their name the way they say it with an accent. I was coaching a real estate agent, a Russian, his name was Alex, but he would say Alex. So when I would call him, I would say, hey, Alex, how you doing? I just say his name the way he says it. And you don't want to continue on with the accent. Because for me, it'll sound like a bad Arnold impression. Alex, how you doing? We're having a good day. Just the name, and people appreciate that. When I've done these workshops, some people would say, yes, I would introduce myself. And people, for example, one girl, her name was Maria. And she'd say, yes, I'd introduce myself as Maria. And they say, oh, Maria. She goes, no, Maria. And he goes, oh, Maria. And she goes, no, okay, never mind. So when you do that, you acknowledge the person's, in the way they say their name. The other key element in matching and mirroring. When someone says their name, and you could be door knocking, or you won't be able to pick this up over the phone, you'll be able to pick up the voice and tonality and all that. However, when someone says their name, their body will move in a certain way. Someone will say, hi, I'm Mike, or I'm Mike, move their head, their body, their body will move when they say their name, or their facial expressions will change. They'll just smile, hi, I'm Mike. And so pay attention to that. And so when you say their name, reflect that back to them. So that's the power of matching and mirroring and the subtle things that you can do to really connect with somebody. So, and what's your name? You're doing an open house. Oh, come on in. And I'm Mike and you are? I'm Bob. And they move in and they say Bob, or I'm Bob. And they tilt their head back. Oh, hi, Bob. Come on in. And so reflect back to them, and it starts already creating a certain sense of this person's like me. And a lot of people are concerned when I talk about matching and mirroring. They say, yeah, I've heard about it. However, I don't want it to seem like I'm just mocking them and doing things like they do. And so that people won't pick up their name the way they say their name. The gestures, the motions, they may pick up. And if you do a gesture and they say, hey, how come you're moving like me? Just simply say, funny, I thought you were moving like me. And so matching and mirroring is very powerful. This is just the name alone. Next, I'm going to go into another powerful word, unless there's any questions on what I've covered so far. Okay. So I have a lot to go to cover. And at the end, I might also talk about how to handle when someone asks you for a discount, a seller, or if a buyer asks you for a kickback, or how to present your commission, the word you use, framing. And this is not scripting. I don't cover scripting. I just talk about a strategy and a language pattern techniques, certain phrases that you can use that will make an impact. And then also I'll cover how to close. It's natural and easily. So where you can just finally get to the end and this is what you can say. So one powerful word I want you to be aware of. Use, practice, and maybe you're using this. Maybe you're saying someone's name the right way. The word is because. Because some linguistics don't really know why. They're thinking it's just a word that people just respond to because it's based on beliefs. This is the way it is because, or from childhood. your mom would say, clean up your room. Why? Because I'm the mom or because I'm the dad. And they did an experiment years ago in a library. This is a college, back when they had copy machines instead of printers. And what they did is that there was a long line, and they had a man and also a woman go in to check different genders. And they would walk in and they go up to the front of the line, toward the front, and they'd say, can I take so many copies? They go, no, no, no. About 70 or 80% of people said, nope, the line starts in the back. So they went in again, different group, and they just used the word because. And they walk in and say, hey, can I take cuts? Because it's Monday and I have to make copies. They would say anything nonsensical, because I need to make copies, or because of I have to take care of this quickly. Just adding that word because switched it over to about 70, 80% of the people said, okay. So think about that. Add that word when you're going to want someone to come in. Either you can add it for an emotion or to take action. You can say, let's meet Wednesday at 2 o'clock because I have some time open from 1 to 2. Come to my office on Wednesday at 2 o'clock because I have some time open. Let's look at this house, or let's take care of the paperwork because we need to take action now. I want you to feel confident that I'm the right person to help you because I will take care of all the details. So in that instance, I said, feel confident. I want them to feel an emotion, not as in to take cuts, but to feel an emotion to say, okay, I'll do this because I'm going to take care of all the details. It just, again, doesn't have to be anything concrete. However, it's something that you want to either have an emotion, feel confident, feel reassured because we're going to do this, or take action, get your loan approved or qualified because that's the first thing we need to do. So just add that word because, and it makes a big impact in people. And as I mentioned, you may be using this and not know the impact and the influence it has, or you might be missing the opportunity to influence somebody when they're, again, a buyer or seller that are a little jittery or concerned because of the changes going on in the industry and in the marketplace. So that's just one word alone that can help you. Now, some other words, or if there's any questions, again, I want to keep this open as a conversation. Are there any questions? We talked about the mindset, the name, and then because. Now, next category of words I'm going to chat about and talk about are based on time. They're called temporal words. And these can help you to create confidence in somebody, to take action, and also someone is concerned. They're saying, I don't know if I should buy now. I'm going to wait, or I'm going to just maybe next year. And I have a concern about the interest rates, whatever it is. So first off is the word when. When does three things. When you say, when I market your home, I will have photos, drones, I'll post it on Facebook, on social media, I'll have ads and a web page. So when you say when, it implies that you're going to be the person, you're going to be their agent. It presupposes it. It also talks about when, it implies the results you're going to get or the actions you're going to take. The photos, drones, whichever it is. Let me see, I have a question. Any suggestions on things? Oh, I lost it. I might have to look. I think that the answer will come when I talk about some more temporal words for people that hesitate. Over when also, the third thing it does, it takes them into the future. And I hope I have a whole training on what I call time sliding, because when you take people in the future, it reduces their anxiety or the fear of change, because you're talking about it already happening. When I'm marking your home, when I take pictures, it's as if in the future, that's the things that are going to happen. So it reduces the anxiety and it allows them to feel the sense of it's not going to be change, a drastic change. It's already, I'm kind of experiencing it already. I won't have time to go into this. However, again, for those that want to learn more, I'll talk about some other programs towards the end on how you can use languaging, your voice, your words around negative prospects. Okay. Any words that turn around negative prospects? part of that about turning around negative prospects is creating that instant rapport, the trust, the confidence. Because if they're negative, there might have been something you did or said, maybe the way you approach them. I'll just share one quick tip on body motion as well. When you do an open house or when you're door knocking, when you're greeting someone at your home or their home, the way you approach somebody, this will help, again, reduce that negative response or the defensive response. So when you greet,
I'm sorry to disturb you. I think we have, because I don't want you to go to the second topic. We have here like almost like 2 questions. If you would be kind to answer them, can you see them?
let me check.
Yeah, it's in the chat.
Okay. Oh, my screen is not showing them. Let me see if I can. Can you
I can
read them
read
out
them
to
if
me?
you like.
Yes, please.
One says, any suggestions on things you can say help bring down the fence barriers with standoffish people?
Okay. Yes, I'll cover that. And first off, when you say standoffish, it could be somebody that you don't have rapport with. They're defensive. And so the way you approach them, maybe the way you didn't say their name properly, can get them standoffish, as if are they paying attention to me? And subtle things also. If you have your phone in your hand when you're talking to somebody, it can give the impression that you're not present. So little things like that can impact some of the standoffish, where did this person really care about me, or is it just a transaction? And your body language, there's a lot that I cover in body motion, body language. When you greet somebody, the way you greet them, you want to have your hands open, almost like you're going to hug them. So down at your waist. Right now, I'm bringing them up so you can see them. However, you have them down your waist and you say, hey, hello, or welcome to the open house. When you have your hands open, it shows that you're not hiding anything. So people will then reduce their standoffish. They'll feel a sense of safety. You're being wide open arm. It's an element of charisma. It shows that you're not hiding anything. You're not being defensive. You're not having your arms crossed or your hands in your pocket. So imagine someone walking into an open house and with your hands behind your back, where they can't see your hands. It just creates a different energy. So little things like that will create people to be standoffish. There's other elements of creating rapport that also impact your voice, your words, how you say hello, their name. This will help a lot when you're doing an open house or even door knocking. Hey, hello, I'm Mike, your neighborhood real estate agent. And there's other things, when you're door knocking, there's other things you can do to reduce them from being standoffish. Because a lot of people will say, no, do you need any help with real estate, or do you know anyone? No, they'll just kind of quickly say no. And there's other, what I call pattern interrupts, that you can use to create someone to stop and then think differently and then start to have a conversation with you. However, just the gesture of this motion alone will help people to reduce their anxiety and to be standoffish. The other thing is the words that you use. They're temple words. I talked about when. Other words that will reduce their anxiety would be words in the past: was, had. And so if someone says, yeah, I'm concerned about the interest rates. Oh, okay. So what was your concern that you had? So it's in the past. When you say, what is your concern you're having now? It just revivifies it. It makes it create more energy and put it present. But if you say, what was your concern that you had? And use a voice of concern, of softness. Don't use a voice where you're going to be kind of arguing with them or trying to debate with them. So what was your concern that you had? And that will help somebody then feel a more of a sense of, well, it's not really that much of a concern, or they may voice it and you want to listen to it. However, already you're taking them into the past to where it's not really, it's already in the past. It's not something now or in the future. So what was it? What was it you had? Had. Those are temporal words that are in the past. Another word like were and had, what were, or that you had, And so those are temple words. Other words that you want to be cautious with to avoid someone getting standoffish are hope, don't, but, cry, should. Let me first start off with should. Should tends to get people defensive. You should declutter your home. You should take care of that landscaping. You should do some painting. And if you compound that with pointing, you should take care of that landscaping, or you should declutter over there and take all your personal pictures out. People get very defensive on that. There's something you can say instead. And first off, instead of pointing, you should do that. There's other things you can do. One is there's the presidential point where they just kind of put their knuckles out and they say, you should. So don't do the presidential point. If you notice, that's why they do this. It's because they don't want to point. We need to do this. This is going to happen. It's as if you're reprimanding somebody. So instead, almost top. You should declutter that, or you should move that over, or paint that area. So when you're just using your hand like this, it's not as aggressive. But ideally, what you want to do is not use the word should. And then what I do is, even when I'm doing presentations, instead of pointing to people, you have a question, I would put my hand up and say, oh, you have a question. You over there, you have a question? Go ahead. And so I don't point. And this is what I do instead. If you're doing presentations and you want to keep this in mind, avoid pointing. And what you say instead of should will create an engagement. And what I suggest you say is, can I ask a question? Or can I make a suggestion? So instead of saying you should declutter or you should work on the landscape, and say, can I make a suggestion? They say, okay, so now it's a conversation. You say, to really get people to see the home and the best life where they can imagine themselves being here, I suggest you declutter, or I suggest you do this, or I suggest you do that. So can I make a suggestion is a conversational response or direction, and people will be open to that. And that'll, again, if you're saying should, people will get defensive and forgot what the word was that we were using. However, those are some key things. Hope, don't, cry, and but. But everyone knows that you shouldn't use. However, you don't know many people don't know what you can say instead. There are 3 things you can say. And the reason but is a kind of a pushback, as if someone says, I think I should wait, but, and you say but, it's as if you didn't acknowledge what they just said. Or I think my home should be listed at $750,000. And you go, oh, wait, but the comps. And so be cautious with the word but. If someone says it's a great day outside, but I see a few clouds, it negates it's a great day outside, everything in front. So there's 3 words you can use instead. One is however. The other is and the third is on the other hand. I think I should wait list my home or to buy a home. Well, on the other hand, if you wait, so on the other hand implies that 2 thoughts can happen or 2 ideas can exist at the same time. And so this will help, again, avoid getting into a defensive conversation, but where people will open up and take your action and not push back or be defensive. Same thing. And I think I should wait. Well, and if you wait, this is what we have to consider. And in emails, you can do the same thing. Now is a great time. Now, you can use however instead of but. However, this is what you should do. And you can, again, use them in emails. So be cautious with the word but. Use either however, and, or on the other hand. Were there any other, it was 2 questions. What was the other one? Was it the same type of question?
Yeah, well, I think it was just a continuation of the question. And I think you already covered it because it said any suggested words to turn around negative prospects or recruits. I think you covered it, I think.
Okay, good. And thank you. And there's a lot more that you want to be aware of. It's not just the word It's also the questions. It's also your body motion, your voice, the way you shake hands. I talk about just greeting people. And so there's a mindset, there's instant rapport connection, there's a conversation. When you have a conversation with somebody, if you know what to listen for, you can pick up how they make decisions. You can start to identify, okay, I need to present this to this person so they understand it, they agree with me, and they take action. So the words typically are just a small portion of it. These are just keywords that do make an impact, as you can tell in conversations. And so towards the end, again, I'll explain some more in regards to other things you can learn. I want to cover this as much as I can. And yeah, working with difficult people, if you expect them to be difficult, you're not going to be creating warmth and trust with them. And now, as I said in the beginning, more than ever, you really need to be aware of how you communicate with people, because they're hearing all this negative news and they're doing their own research and they're really wondering, should I take action? Is now the right time to take action, or should I wait, or can I afford it? What happens is that when someone gets really emotionally in a negative state, there's that fight, flight, or freeze. They'll fight, they'll say, no, I don't want to, or they'll flight, they'll just say, I'll call you back, I'll get back to you, and they never call you back, or they freeze and just don't take action. You say, okay, let's go look at this house. Okay, and they just don't go look at the house or don't take action. So you need to get them out of that. And the way you talk to them is also important, because you need to get them out of that mindset. In neuroscience, it's called inhibitory neurons. And those are negative neurons where someone goes in fight, or flee, freeze. And if you talk about negative things and they hear a bunch of negative things, that's what happens. And if someone's really under a lot of stress, they get into survival mode. The mind just shuts down. They get into that freeze and just don't want to do anything or take any actions. And so you want to get them into what's called in neuroscience excitatory neurons, where you get them to see possibilities, to feel good, to take action, to make them feel confident. And you can project that. You can ask them questions and have them think about that, so that they could see the possibilities. And when they see the possibilities, they're more open and creative, and they will take action, or at least be open to hearing your suggestion. So again, there's a lot more. I want to cover as much as I can in this session on certain key words and phrases. So the other words I covered, I said hope, don't, and try. Try is, you probably heard the old Star Wars Yodaism, try you mustn't, do you must. Try means attempt. And so for you, be cautious with using the word try to clients, because if you say, I'll try to get back to you tomorrow, or I'll try to find the right home, or I'll try to sell it in 30 days, or whichever it is, it creates doubt in people. And what happens is, it's not as if they have a checklist of, oh, they said try and they said should. It's their intuition, just like you have an intuition. When you start to hear certain words and have certain feelings, maybe the way they approach you, maybe they're standing there with their cell phone in their hand, the way they greeted you, other elements, you start to pick up a feeling, a sensation of, I like this person or I don't. So they have their intuition as well. And with matching and marrying, it helps them feel good about you. There's a lot of other matching and marrying elements. However, that's just one, just their name alone. It just helps to accelerate that connection of what I call the tribal effect. You're like my family. You talk to me like my friends do, or my family does, or the way I hear it. So try, be cautious with that. It then will give people a bad feeling, or a negative feeling, or a feeling of, is this the right person for me? And they'll get defensive. And if a person says try, yeah, I'll try to meet you tomorrow at 2:00. That means they're not going to meet you. At that point, you need to pin them down, and you pin them down by saying, well, you said try, I really need to know, because I'm going to block off an hour of my time for you. And if you can't make it, then I want to open it up to meet with someone else that I have potentially going to meet with. So if someone says the word try to you, tie them down. And you'll probably experience this where you said to a friend or to some colleagues that, hey, let's go to the restaurant. We're all going to get together and have some snacks or drinks after work. And they go, okay, I'll try to be there. That means they're not going to show up. They're just trying to be polite to acknowledge that. So the next word is hope. Hope is a word of doubt. And unless someone's under crisis, then you want to give them hope. When I was doing a presentation in Italy, they were saying that, well, President Obama, in his first campaign, talked about hope. So yeah, if people are under crisis, you want to give them hope. However, in business, you want to be cautious with the word hope. If your doctor told you, I hope I can find what's wrong with you, you probably say, yeah, I hope you can find another patient because I'm going for another second opinion. There's doubt in that message. So if you say, I hope you like this home, or I hope you like my marketing plan, I hope you're talking in doubt, and actually you're expecting them not to like it. You're hoping they like it. So just remove the word hope altogether and just say, this is my great marketing plan, or you're going to love this home. Just talk with a positive outcome in mind. Just remove that word hope. Do I have a question? I see some hands were raising. I wasn't sure if it was for me or not. So these words also, one last word is don't. D-O-N apostrophe T, don't. Don't is a negation as well. If I say don't think about your car and wherever it's parked, you have to make an image of that to process that information, that phrase. If I start to add emotions into that, then for emotional question or phrase, then your emotions will start to evoke. If I say don't think about your car wherever it's parked, with someone looking through the window to maybe break in. So now you have different emotions. And you have to be cautious with negative emotions. You can say, don't pick that up or don't do that, and then follow up with something positive. Instead do this. However, it's okay if you're just talking about action, but emotions you have to be cautious with. And what I mean negative emotions, phrases like, yes, the interest rate's changing, don't worry. And they have to think about worrying in order to process what you just said and get back into the intuition. Don't get upset. Yes, I didn't call you yesterday. I got really busy. Don't get upset. Don't get mad. Don't get upset. Don't get mad. Don't think I'm flaky because I wasn't able to. So those words will create negative feelings and a negative train of thought. You want to create that priming, that positive train of thought of working with you and feeling confident with you. So instead of saying, don't worry, what do you want them to feel? You want them to feel confident or feel okay. I didn't call you, or the interest rates are moving. I want you to feel confident. We're going to monitor that. We're going to be okay. We're going to take care of, make sure we're on top of that. Or I didn't call you yesterday. I want you to feel confident. I'm here for you. I got busy, got tied up in a lot of things. So just be cautious with the word don't. And these words, I talked about how they impact you. Try, hope, don't. If you're internal, you're talking to yourself, I'm going to try to make some calls today. I'm going to try to get a lead. I hope it goes well. I don't want this call to fall apart and go bad. You're talking to yourself in a way that's going to create negative feelings, emotions, and possibly procrastination. So those words also, not only when you're talking to clients or they're talking to you, when you're talking to yourself, the self-talk. So be careful with those words. Any other questions? I just want to make sure we're running through the time. Because it's been helpful. I just want to make sure you guys are picking up some golden nuggets because I covered a lot.
Doing great, Mike. Yeah.
Okay.
You're doing very well.
Okay.
We'll let you continue. Go ahead.
All right. I talked about when. When is a powerful word. Another negative word you have to be cautious with is the word if. So you say, when I list your property, you're again telling about the future success and results. You say, if I list your property, it implies you may not. You're now not talking in confidence. You're talking about doubt. I may not be the person for you, but if I list your property, or if I help you buy a house, implies doubt in your message. So that's another word you have to be cautious with. The one way it can be used in a powerful way is if you create a condition. If then, if you want to sell your home in 30 days, then I'm the person to help you. I'll take care of that. I have a program, a system. So if then, if you want to connect with more clients and get more yeses, then I have an NLP program for you. So that's how if then creates a condition. So let me go into some more phrasing. this is a question you can ask a client that will reduce their anxiety or help them think about the conversation in a positive way. Towards the end, you can ask them this question. And the question is there anything else you can think about that will make you feel confident? Is there anything else you can think of? You can say this throughout the conversation while you're talking to them. And you want to take breaks throughout the conversation. And what I call, what I teach in coaching is calibrate them, is just to start to read them, read their body, their voice, their emotions, to see if you're on track or not. And when you ask this question, is there anything else you can think about? The word think. If you're not asking to say anything, you're just telling them to think about, is there anything else you can think about that will make you feel confident, or that make you feel confident that now it's the right time to sell or to buy. And it just has them thinking about something. They may think about it, may have a question, or may say, no, there's nothing else I can think about. So it's just getting them through a process, again, to prime them, to continue that, making them feel good, to feel positive, to take action. Let me go into buyers. And I've been asked this in many workshops that I presented to real estate agents. So when they ask for a kickback, and when they ask for a kickback, there's 3 parts to the strategy of this conversation. And it uses the word because. I mentioned that because is very powerful. It causes compliance. And that's another thing that I go into, is how to create compliance before you're the leader, the authority, people follow you. And it's not just the word, it's giving other instructions. However, if someone asks for a kickback, a buyer, hey, can you give me, when you help me buy my house, I know you get a commission, can you give me $1,000 or $500, whatever it is. And this is how you respond to have them feel good that you're not going to give them a kickback. And it's no, and you have to use it congruently with confidence. Say no, because. I use the word because. It creates that condition, that compliance. No, because I have a team. And so now you're implying what you do. You have the broker, you have a split commission, maybe you have other people that are helping you. No, because I have a team. So the money's not all coming to you. You're responsible for other people, so that it reduces them of thinking you're getting the full commission. No, and you don't have to explain it. Just say no, because I have a team. And now, and not but, and if I give people kickbacks, I thought about this, of money, I would have to report that to IRS. IRS, because it's going to hard for me to say that word. I have little letters. I have to report it to the IRS as an expense. And I don't want any of my clients to get mixed up with the IRS. So that's why I don't do it. However, again, instead of but, however, what I can do is host your housewarming party. I'll bring in snacks and beverages and food. I'll be there to help out. So now they feel like they got something, and you want to be there at the housewarming party so you can meet all their friends and family, get introduced to other people, and expand your connections and influence. So those are the 3 parts. No, because IRS, they'll back off. I don't want the IRS digging into my account or my money. However, what I can do is I give you this prize and do this for you. So that's how you can handle a kickback. Most people, the old school way of saying, well, would a doctor offer a kickback, or would a doctor do this, or a lawyer? That's getting defensive, and obviously you're trying to negotiate or just trying to defend yourself. So in this case, you bring in the IRS. When they hear those words, they'll back off. They may still ask, however, just can still say no. Just say it congruently, confidently, not no, just no. And there's voice patterns of influence. Just know that when you add a little more bass to your voice, it is a voice of authority, just like newscasters. And I coach people on how to shift their voice and what to do, and how to create it with a certain rhythm and what I call word packs, where those are just the kickbacks. In a moment, I'll talk about how to present your commission so that the person feels good about your commission, and what to say if the seller wants a discount, there's another strategy for you to help them out with that I'll share with you, that I've shared with other top performers. And then how to close, what to say when you close. Before I go into that, I'll talk a little bit more about my programs. Any questions? And for whatever reason, I can't see any chats on the screen.
Okay.
So
Yes, there is two questions.
Okay.
One, it says words for when you are in a freeze response. I cannot see, and aren't able to take action. That's one.
words when you
W-
say that again, please.
Words for when you are in a freeze response and aren't able to take actions. When you're in a situation and somebody asks you questions and you don't know what you have to do. So how can you handle this?
Okay. And so freeze, either you freeze or the client freezes.
Well, just talk about, I think the person talk about the relative would be freeze, like me.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll cover two things. One is if the client freezes, and because they may not necessarily freeze, they just start to daydream or they just don't seem present. What you can do is what I call a pattern interrupt. It just interrupt their train of thought. And you can just simply ask a question out of the blue that will get them present again. It could, oh my goodness, what time is it? What time is it? And just get them to break whatever cycle they're going through of daydreaming. And they may be daydreaming because kids they have to pick up at school or something like that, or something going on, or something that's going to happen. So just think about something that you can interrupt, create a pattern interrupt. One that I like doing that I do with the grandkids is I'll say, hey, point to them, look at me and I'll say, I love you. And so it's a pattern interrupt, but then I just add in something funny, and you can drop a bottle of water with the lid on and just to get them to startle them. If you freeze, what I suggest you do is just simply stop and pause and ask them a question so that you can collect your thoughts. And maybe you might have something else that you might want to cover. And the question you say, do you have any questions? Or does this make sense? Do you follow me? And that'll give you time to collect your thoughts. And they may have a question, so you can start to ask that question. You go, oh yeah, by the way, I meant to ask you this. And sometimes you may forget what you were going to say, and you say, I was going to say something. It'll come to me. I just drew blank. But let me continue on. And I've done this in presentations. I would be presenting to a group, and then I would say, oh, someone asked a question. I was going to answer it. I'll remember before the day is over, before the session's over, because it's a brilliant answer. And so it's okay to pause, and you want to pause because you want to be able to read them while you pause. And pausing is very powerful. There's another language pattern that I cover, that I coach with it. And the reason you want to pause is, as I pause, it creates anticipation. And if you're talking to somebody, it allows them to process what you just said. Because if you're talking, they're trying to keep up with you. And it sounds like you're nervous, or you just want to talk and present without having a conversation. And that's another word I want to share with you, conversation. I mentioned at the beginning, this is a conversation. So that's a powerful word as well. Instead of having meetings with people, have conversations. Tell them, let's meet tomorrow at 2 o'clock to have a conversation or to continue our conversation about buying or selling a home. People will be more inclined to have conversations instead of meetings. Meetings seem formal, like maybe pressure. So in your emails, love to continue our conversation. So you can use it in emails and also in voicemail or just in person. And so pause allows them to process, allows you to process. And what's also important is, in a multicultural world, if someone has an accent and English is their second language, there's a tendency where they're processing or translating what you say in English into their native language. So if you pause, it allows them to keep up with you, and you're watching them to see if there's any reaction, and then continue on. So those are some key things that can help you. Does that make sense? Is that helpful?
Can I-
Yes,
May I add one thing?
sure.
It will be appropriate if I'm in this situation and, like I freeze. It will be appropriate if I say, you know what? I will get back to you on that one.
Yeah,
So I'm not ignoring the situations, but also I let the other person knows the question or the situation is very important to the point I need some time to think about it, and that's okay. I'll get back to you on that one. Maybe I'll get back to that person the same day, or maybe later. That's one recommendation. I don't know.
Yeah.
Makes
Yeah,
sense?
no. Yes, it does. The other thing, the mindset that every agent wants to have is that you're the CEO of your company. It's your business. And so just like a CEO of a major company, they don't know everything about marketing. They don't know everything about social media, about manufacturing, about finances. They have other CFOs or other C-level or directors. So for you, think about that. When someone asks you a question, maybe about social media marketing, go, good question. Let me get back to you. I'll talk to my social media expert about that, or I'll get back to you with an answer. So don't think you have to, and don't try to pretend that you have all the answers, because you're the CEO. You know about their home, their transaction. However, there's other elements that you might have to do research. And so, as Joseph said, yes, let me get back to you. Good question. I'll do some research and get the answer to you. Is there anything else you'd like to know, or anything else I can help you with? So just continue on with that conversation. So now we're coming to the end. I want to cover the sellers and how to close and the commission. Briefly, on my webpage, mikeaguilar.com/ROG, I have information about some programs. I have a home study course, Connect with Anyone in 90 Seconds or Less. It's 3 hours of video, 4 hours of audio. My book and ebook format is all digital online. It has a bonus of a 90-minute coaching call, group coaching call, to cover some more advanced material, answering some more questions. And then I also have a masterclass. And that's, again, follow up with one 90-minute session. I have a masterclass that's 6 weeks long, with also the home study course. The information's on there. And then also, if you have questions about me coaching you or group coaching, then just click on that and contact me. I'm here to help. My intent is to share with you some golden nuggets that can help you now. And I'm sure there's a lot of veteran real estate agents in the group here. And some of this you've heard, some of this is brand new to you. And I know that because I've coached real estate agents. One of them told me, I've been in real estate for over 20 years, and I wish I knew what you've taught me so far. So there's a lot to learn, and I'm still learning. I still go to programs on neuroscience and communication and listen to different speakers. And this is my playground. This is what I love to do and love to help people with. So if you need and want some more help, then go to that page, mikeaguilar.com/ROG for Real Estate One Group and Friends, and do some research there. And then there's a deadline for tomorrow because the program's going to start on Thursday or Friday. And I just wanted to make sure we just launch and just do some amazing things and get some great results, because you're in the people business. And the more you know about people and about yourself, the more successful and the accelerated success you're going to have. So let me go into setting up your commission, how you talk about it. And the way you talk about it is when you get to the commission, you say, and my commission is just, you just use the word just or only, it minimizes it. It's just 3% or 2.5, whatever you feel comfortable or confident with. And you want to feel confident that you're giving great value. So my commission is just 3%. And the only thing we need to figure out is the commission for the buyer's agent. So when you position it that way, instead of saying the commission is going to be 6 or 5%, the buyer thinks or the seller thinks that you're going to get all the commission. So you have to then define what the commission means and minimize it. It's just 3%, only 3%. And then we just need to figure out the buyer's commission. And I've shared this with many real estate agents. I've had some say, the seller said, is that all? So bring in your own buyers. I'm okay if you bring in your own buyers. And so that's how you can handle the commission. Now, if the seller asks you for a discount, back to using the word but, or not but because they ask for a discount, you have to say it congruently with your voice of authority and say no, because I have a team. And you do. Again, you have to split the commission with your broker, and you may have photography and other things. Just say no, because I have a team. And then now you can add a bonus for them or a form of what they feel is a discount. If you're okay doing this, you say no, because I have a team. However, again, not but, however, what I can do is if I bring in my own buyer, not anyone else, just if I bring in my own buyer, I'll only charge you 5% for the commission. So now they feel like they're getting a discount instead of 2.5 or being 5. And so that's where you feel okay bringing in a real estate or a buyer, and they'll encourage you to bring in your own buyer. So bring in your own buyer, and you won't feel bad about double ending it if it does end up that way. And you can create loyalty, and the person feels like they're getting something even though you may not bring in the buyer. So that's how you can handle a seller asking for a discount. Now, the way you close, towards the end, after you cover everything, if you're able to create the rapport, the confidence, the body language, a lot of that I cover in my program, reading people, how to present information to them if someone is very analytical or procedural or not, if they're very cautious, and then also go into different personality styles. If someone's very dominant, that's usually the luxury market where there's a CEO of a company, they like to take control. What languaging do you have to use to create confidence and have them comply? Or if they're not, maybe they're just very influential, they're cautious, they're supportive. And this is all based off the disc. There's just some phrases you can use that will really connect with people to have them take action. And now for closing. The close is there anything else you need to know in order to go ahead? And they say no, or they may have a question. So if they say no, and some people just want to say no, have them say no. In the beginning, you can say it, you can set it up and say, well, at the end, if it's not a match, you can say no, and it's okay. And now at the end, after you go through everything, you ask them that, was there anything else you need to know in order to go ahead? And if they say no, then you just now fill out the paperwork. So that's an easy way. This is a more aggressive way of using that, is saying, is there anything else you need to know before we begin the paperwork? That's a little forward. I suggest you say, is there anything else you need to know before we go to go ahead? And if you want to be very covert, and in regards to mirror neurons, is there anything else you need to know in order to go ahead? And you shake your head no. They may start to say no internally and follow your lead just by reflecting back a no, and what's called mirror neurons. If you smile, they'll smile. If you say no, they'll think no. So that's it. We covered a lot. We covered the mindset. We covered powerful words, because and when, and other words, and dangerous words you have to be cautious with, both with the clients and also internal dialogue, and creating that trust and intuition within clients, and questions and phrases to reduce anxiety and to get people to trust you and to feel confident to take action. And if there are any questions as we're wrapping up, we're at the top again to the top of the hour, and
I'm not going to get off the hook of that easy. So let me just do a few things very quick. We have one question here. I will answer that. The realtor is asking, it is a problem to give gift at the closing. I'm going to answer this. The answer is yes, you could do that, but you need to check with your board and with the real estate commissioner, because usually there's rules when you give gift at the closing. So this is one part. Now, Mike, listen, I know it wasn't easy for you to try to give us your course. It's impossible within like half an hour, because I know you have a lot, and it is what you did basically is it's years of work and market study, and I mean, your course is really unbelievable for anybody, take it with you, which is, I know some of our relatives did take that course with you and they did very well. So I know this is a short period of time, you couldn't even cover everything and what the benefit and what kind of change it's going to make for the relatives' life and in their career. So I hope, I know for sure a lot of our relatives in our company here, they will sign up with you. But just I want to ask you, since you're a very generous and you're a very kind man, and it's not my money to give it away, what you are willing to do for everybody, did show up today to take your course, would you be able to give some kind of discounts?
To everyone that showed up?
No, the one show up today. If they sign up for your course, and we're gonna email everybody show up today, the link about your course, everything. So anybody's gonna sign up for your course today, tomorrow, whatever. So are you willing to give them some kind of discounts?
Yes, I'll modify the page. Right now, it actually does have a discount, but I'll add more because my home study course, my Connect with Anyone in 90 seconds or less, with all the bonuses, that just the home study course alone is $245, and I've added the bonus for the group here and friends of the follow 90-minute call where I'll go into some more advanced material, answer some more questions, do some more coaching. But I'll discount it from $245 to $195, and then the mastermind class, which includes the home study course, again 3 hours of video and 4 hours of audio, all the digital books. That master class is all that information that we'll be covering, and then a 6-week course in communications and neuroscience and NLP to cover more material and also to do some coaching as we go along the way. And that is discounted. It's normally $995. I have it for $795. However, I'll discount it down to $595. So $195 for the home study course with a coaching call, group call, or for the mastermind, it'll be $595. I just want to make it as convenient as possible for everyone. And yes, we've invested $20, $30, $40, $50,000 over the years in training and coaching and just refining this material so that it can help real estate agents specifically. And I've pretty much have confirmed that this information will help, but there's a lot more. I just covered some words. There's a lot more that I wish I would have time, or I wish, and I would love to have you in the course so I can walk you through and guide you to find your strengths that you're good at, and then just embellish on that. And then just where maybe the weaknesses that you think you have, we can start to eliminate those. If you think you're weak at and not good at cold calling or door knocking, then there's some more mindset techniques. And I have some more information I can cover on mindset. I'll just cover one thing on mindset that for example, I have a program called Magnetic Destiny, which is mind hacks and how you can really just propel yourself to take action instead of forcing yourself to discipline to do things. So one mindset technique that I'll share with you that's part of that program, and that I'll share also some additional ones in the home study course or the mastermind course. This one technique, when you wake up, before you wake up or before you go to bed, tell yourself how you want to feel and the positive actions you're going to take when you wake up in the morning. So before you go to bed, tell yourself, tomorrow morning when I wake up, I'm going to feel excited. I'm going to feel great. I'm going to make those calls. I'm going to block out that time. I'm going to have a great time making those calls. So you're conditioning yourself at night to how you're going to wake up in the morning. And it makes a difference. That's where you might have experienced where you're going to go on a flight and you said, okay, I have to wake up at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. You get ready for the flight and get to the airport early. And you wake up before the alarm goes off, just when the alarm's about ready to go off. And so your mind is paying attention. And if you do it with consistency, congruently, just saying, this is what I want to do and it's important to you, you'll wake up that way. And I've had many people say, yes, I used to hate getting up to go exercise or work out, but I've told myself that and I feel great now. I do it without thinking about it. So those are some mind hacks you can use. And there's lots of others. I have 22 of them. That's just one that'll help you just get you closer and closer towards your goal and to help you now and in the future and any challenges that you're having. So and I'll update the webpage after we conclude this with the discounts of $195 and $295 or $595. And if there's any questions, if you want personal coaching, then contact me. You can go to my website and contact me. And again, the webpage is mikeaguilera.com/ROG for the home study course and material. And I'll, again, after give me an hour or so to update it for the new discount. And reach out to me if you have a team that you want to talk about coaching them, or if you want personal coaching yourself, just customized to help you to accelerate your success, to get more yeses, to help your mindset. So with that in mind, Joseph, I'll turn it back to you and I can end off with a quote.
Well, thank you so much, Mike. And honestly, it is very well worth it, you know, like to come and to listen to you today. And also, I'm sure, you know, anybody's going to take your course, you know, they will benefit. And this is something, it will last with them for lifetime, you know, because it will change the person to become better person and will be able to behave and to communicate, you know, better in the future. So sometimes there is things in life you cannot put price tag on it. And this is one of the things he teach, you know, cannot put price tag because there's a lot of work and a lot of psychology to it. And you're a great man. And again, I want to thank you so much for coming today. And hopefully we'll be able to do this again another time. And I'm sure we will. But before I let you go, we're going to send the email to everyone, you know, with the link, with all the information one more time. But before we let Mike go, does anyone has or have any question to ask before we let him go?
Or positive feedback, something that you learned that you're glad, because I've had people.
The feedback is very positive, Mike, you know, so don't try to tap yourself on your shoulder. Okay, you did well. You know that.
Okay. Because I've had people on this session like this where they said, "Oh, I just use that word with a client, with a buyer," and yes, think about this.
Yeah, we started getting some feedback here. They said, Mike, you were very positive. Thank you. I think that's what one of your cousins probably. But anyway, so we need to hear from the other relative if anybody has any questions. All right, Mike. I'm sure probably you're gonna get some, most likely, you know, some questions, phone calls. We're gonna send link to everyone with all your information, including the company's name, the link, the telephone number, you know. And I'm sure some of us, we feel uncomfortable probably to ask a question when we are in the audience. Like myself, I'm very shy. So we will make sure they will reach out to you. And once again, I cannot thank you enough for taking time to come to be here with us. And thank you so much, everyone. Jan, you know what? Thank you again, Jan, for attending, you and Matt attending this all the way to the end. And your last chance. Anybody has any question for Mike? No?
Great stuff, Mike.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I'll end up with a quote by Jim Rohn. Success is not something you pursue. It will elude you like a butterfly. Success is attracted to you by the person you become. So the more you work on yourself, personal skills, professional development, confidence, for me, the communication, just the more, because communication is not just with clients, it's just with everyone. It's relationships with family, kids, wife, husband. And it made a big difference in my life. So think beyond and think about if you got value in this brief session and you know it's going to help you, imagine the value you're going to get in one of the other programs. And so you have to think about it that way. Will it help me get another client, not just today or this week, next month, but every month or every other month or whatever it is. You want to make sure you feel confident you're going to get results. And so that was my intent, is to share with you some golden nuggets. And there are a lot more golden nuggets that I would love to share with you. So I'll end up with that of success is attracted to you. So just continue to work on yourself. And for those that are here, that's what you're doing, is you're working on yourself, and the success will be more attracted to you. Thank you, Joseph. We'll sign off.
Thank you so much again. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. And have a great week. And let's make a change. Okay. Have a good day, everyone. Thanks again.
Okay. Bye now.